Everything else scored in this game was strung together hits, good base running. That's what you need to win in big games in later months. So I love seeing it done that way too.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, the Yankees are in their winning ways again. They won another series.
Another series victory. That's what's important.
Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live, and check out our TikTok page. Follow us there at LockedOn_Yankees. So on today's show, we preview the finale in Kansas City. We catch you up on some Yankees news and notes because there's some rehab things happening down in Somerset. Not just Stanton, there's someone else there. And we'll tell you what we think might happen when Stanton returns to the team. But first, the offense goes off against poor Chris Bubich in that what's with the Yankees in these 5-run innings that they've had all year?
Yeah, it's consistent. It's all year. By the way, just side note from the 5-run inning, Aaron Judge homered again. What else is new? I mean, it's every game
not in that inning, which is
it's every game. It's insane. Get this stat. This is a crazy. So Bubich goes 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned, 4 walks, 3 Ks. Just not good for Bubich at all, who's been a Cy Young candidate. His ERA is now up to 1.9 after giving up the 5 earned against the Yankees. He's given up 8 earned runs in 9.2 innings against the Yankees this year, Stacey. He has 9 earned runs given up in 70 innings against the rest of the league all year. He's got a 1.16 ERA in those other starts, not counting the Yankee starts. They just have his number. It's weird. Yeah,
that is really strange. Because you see it a lot of times with the Yankees. Although, no, it's not really strange because we had this issue. Was it last season where we had this issue where the Yankees were having trouble with guys with high ERAs, and then the games that you expected them to be shut down, they would hit the guys who had good ERAs, and now they're just hitting everyone because
this is one of the better pitchers in the American League, though, and I think he was one of the guys that we were talking about. It was in line to potentially start the American League All-Star game over Max Fried, and I think the Yankees kind of like helped their brother out in this game with Max Fried, right?
Yeah, they helped him out. They helped him out on Tuesday with run support, not that he needed it, and then they help him out in that way, getting Bubich to move down the list of possible AL All-Star starters. On the other side of things, Clark Schmidt, another solid start.
Yeah, looked really good. Battled a little bit towards the end of this start. But really did look good and pretty much cruised throughout this entire start. I do want to add one more thing though to the end of the Bubich thing. I like in that 5-run inning how the Yankees scored those runs. I think it's important, and we tend to mention that a lot though. It wasn't by the home run. Right. The only home run in this game was the Aaron Judge home run. Mm-hmm. Everything else scored in this game was strung together hits, good base running. That's what you need to win in big games in later months. So I love seeing it done that way too.
Yeah. It partly happened in that way on Tuesday night as well. Like, yes, you had the big Wells home run, but you also had guys getting on base ahead of him in different ways. And it wasn't just home runs. But yeah, that's good to see from the Yankees because like you said, we always talk about that. You don't want them to be home run reliant. And when they're not, it's fun to watch.
No, and Aaron Judge can be that guy, right? Like you can have him hit the home runs, but the other guys in the lineup need to contribute the way that they are. And you get Bellinger with the hits and Wells with the hits. I mean, the whole team contributing. Plus, what a great game Trent Grisham had in this game. Overall, just a really solid win for the Yankees.
Yeah, you mentioned Wells still hitting lefties.
Yep. Although he could have competition at the catcher position coming up soon. But we'll talk about that in the next segment. But there could be some competition coming.
Yeah, so now the stat for 5 or more run innings for the Yankees. 2025, 17 times in 66 games. 2024, 15 times in 162 games. So they just keep scoring and scoring. Now, you mentioned Grisham. The umps were 0 for 2 with catches. that Grisham made.
The second one I sort of got because it did look clearer once it was slowed down. The first one's inexcusable. The first one, everybody watching that game saw that Grisham obviously caught that ball. And I guess what bothers me most in these situations, Stacey, is not that the umpires got the call wrong. It's the ego in the umpires. It's the matter-of-factness and this stuck-up attitude that nope, out. Or no catch, I guess they're calling it in this scenario. No catch. It's so arrogant on the umpire's part. Like, we didn't get this call wrong. No way. And they telling the Yankee, Grisham's just running off the field. He's like, I'm running off the field. And the umpire's trying to get him to get back on the field. It's ridiculous. And it was so obvious to the naked eye that he caught that ball. It was so obvious. It's so, you get the same reaction from the umpires with the ball and strike calls and with the check swings, where they're so adamant, and then you see the replays and it's very obvious they were wrong. I don't like that. Yeah,
it's not great that, with ABS coming, you would think that these guys would want to be better at their jobs.
Yeah.
Bullpen. Let's move on to that just for now. Hedrick, 1 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 K. Cruz, 2/3 of an inning, 0 hits. Poor Leiter Jr.
Yeah, throwing the ball away doesn't help. He wasn't great in this appearance, regardless. But yeah, throwing the ball away is not going to help in those positions.
And I'm going to stick up for Oswald Peraza here. He was playing so far back when that pop up was hit that it really shouldn't have been his ball. And I can see why the ball fell between them. And then that second play, the guy running down the bases was really, really fast. And it took a high hop. And I mean, he got it. He almost got the guy out. So I don't want people jumping all over Oswald Peraza for those two plays. It just looks bad because they happened in the same inning. And then it was compounded by Leiter Jr. throwing the ball away and them scoring 3 runs and then them having to bring Devin Williams in. And isn't it nice watching Devin Williams and feeling relaxed watching him?
Well, it does need to be noted that in the walks were a big problem for him early on in the year. In his last 18 appearances, he only has 5 walks now. He's really cleaned things up in those last, and that's a good sample size. So he has really cleaned things up, and that, I don't know what you want to call it. I was calling it a ghost change. I guess it's a fork grip though that he has on it. That pitch just disappears. The late movement is I don't know how any hitter could hit that. When that pitch is on,
Mark Hanna looked very silly in his at bat.
Lost, and he's a good hitter. He's a good contact hitter.
Yeah,
it was when that pitch again. He hasn't been on all year, but when that pitch is on, and you combine that with 98 miles an hour up in the zone, I don't know how anyone hits him. That's why his That's why his ERA is as low as it is every year. Because when that pitch, I don't think, and I mean this wholeheartedly, the only pitcher I've ever watched with movement that's that late into the zone, that literally disappears out of the zone, that I've ever seen is Mariano Rivera. But because his cutter moved at the literal last second where you look like a fool swinging at it. And that's what this changeup looks like. It disappears at the last second. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a really impressive pitch from him. Like I said, Mark Hanna, there were 2 pitches in that where he just looked at, especially the third strike. I was just like, wow.
Well, the confidence on that too, because he fooled him on the second strike, and then for Devin Williams to go right back to it for strike 3, very impressive. He just has that. I think that is a big sign too, to show the confidence in that spot that you're not going to hit it on strike 2, you're not going to hit it on strike 3, like to keep throwing it back and forth. That's a good confidence thing for Devin Williams. I did notice this too. I don't know if you did. They brought it up on the broadcast. Devin Williams now also over the last 18 appearances, not starts, has been having the pitch comb on his belt and calling his own pitches.
Yes.
Instead of the catcher doing it. So maybe that is a little bit of thing too. Maybe there was a little bit of a lost in translation thing with the catchers and him not having a good game plan going forward. Maybe I think he might feel more comfortable just calling his own pitches. So that could be a little bit to his shaky start also.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to Judge just for a second. So
of course,
he hits home run number 25 on June 11th, and he's still hitting above 390. And it's funny too, because before he hit the home run, he didn't have anything. And I was thinking, oh man, here we go. He's going to get, because he was hitting 393 before he hit the home run. And then he goes Oppo Taco. He's just unbelievable. We are blessed to watch this man every night, honestly.
It's every game. It's legitimate video game numbers at this point. I mean, legitimately to have 25. We're not even technically at mid-June yet, and he's got 25 homers and 60 RBIs. It's I don't have words. He's on pace for 71 home runs now throughout the season. That's his pace. His RBI pace is about 160 RBIs. I mean, this is as good, better than any Barry Bonds season. That's how good he looks right now. His walk numbers are high. His on base is high. His slugging, his OPS is still 1.2. His OPS plus is 270. It's absurd how good he is. And just to mention this real quickly, and I know we do here and there, but I know there was a whole debate in that offseason, and there was a final phone call, and it went down to the last second and everything. Boy, 9 years at the money they're paying him is a bargain. Is a bargain. 9 years, what is it, 360? I mean, I know that is a bargain if there's ever been one.
Yeah. So the Yankees win the series. They're 41-25. Aaron Judge is not slowing down. You know, he may go a few games without a home run, but when he doesn't hit a home run, he's hitting the ball anyway. So it's unbelievable what he's doing. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send you lineups during the season, roster moves, any rehab news, which I had a lot of that to send out on Wednesday. Breaking news so you don't have to check social media, and you get top priority on Fan Mail Friday every week. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, we have some Yankees news and notes. And speaking of rehabbing players, we have updates on Giancarlo Stanton and Marcus Stroman next.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances. There's major momentum shifts and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in on the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. And the Pacers took a 2-1 NBA Finals lead early last night, and the OKC Thunder are now down to a minus 220 favorite on FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can get them as a favorite down 2-1 in the series. So if you're that comfortable with OKC, this might be one of the better prices you'll get anywhere you could possibly find and on any sportsbook you could possibly find, because FanDuel has the best odds for you. And are you new to FanDuel? It's the perfect time to sign up. You can head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. Now, if that wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
So we have a new way for you to leave questions for Fan Mail Friday. You go to our YouTube page, you hit posts, and you'll see where I left this week's post. It basically tells you to leave your question by Thursday at 5. But if you get something in later than Thursday at 5, I'll look for it. The Yankees will be playing, so it'll be fine. Because usually I set the early deadline just to throw back the curtain on Thursdays, because usually Thursdays are off days, or a lot of times Thursdays are off days and we do the show earlier, but they're playing. So, and we'll be previewing that in segment 3. But now we're going to be talking about what's going to happen with the lineup when Giancarlo Stanton returns.
Yeah, so a little bit of false reporting on Locked On Yankees yesterday, I want to say. We both were kind of not reporting, because we were both under the understanding that Giancarlo Stanton, they were going to take their time with him. They were going to wait, see how long it took, and not rush him back to the major league level. Well, I heard from somebody within the organization today.
That was more you than me. I was just smiling and nodding, because I was
all
thinking
right, cover yourself up.
No,
cover
but I was thinking in my head, I'm like, would they bring him to Boston?
Well, apparently they are. That's the plan. The plan is that he's going to play on Friday night in Boston. So that's what I heard from someone within the organization that I trust very much. So there you go. That's, if all things work out, that's the plan. He played really well in his second minor leagues game. He went 1 for 4 with an RBI double. So he's playing well. He's seeing the ball well. I don't know if 3 games in a AA is enough time for him back. honestly, to be
Right.
able to be ready for the major leagues. I think that's a little early. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him back in the lineup, but that feels a little early. But overall, it looks like they're going to bring him back as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. It feels a little premature. I'm not going to lie.
But they did say, like, I know it's important to have in-game action, but that's really more important. Like, I understand the timing and the at-bats and stuff like that and real game action and everything like that. But with a guy who isn't playing a position, he doesn't really need to be there for that long when he's doing a rehab.
Yeah, but the 3 games feel short.
No, it does. And I don't even, is it going to be 3? Did he play in the second game of the doubleheader on Wednesday?
No, he play. Well, I don't know if he's going to play Thursday. You don't know yet. I'm assuming Somerset has a game on Thursday.
Well, Boone said isn't likely to play on Thursday.
So he's done after 2 games in the minor leagues,
and that the club would discuss the next step. So if
that's
the next
wild.
Yeah, because they were keeping an eye on his at bats and liked what they saw, and I don't know.
I mean, that's good. We'll see. It just feels like for a guy that has had so much of a huge injury history in his major league career, to give him 2 games to get back is after missing 2 months is a little crazy. But hey, if they got a medical team they trust, I'm okay with that. Now, Boone, that news that he's going to possibly come back Friday did not. That is coming from us, from me. I guess I'll take the credit for it.
Yeah, take the credit, because if you're wrong,
yeah. Well, I don't care if I'm wrong. You guys can come at me, but I heard from someone that works with the team and travels with the team that he's going to play on Friday. If that's wrong, that's wrong. But that's what I heard from.
That's crazy.
Aaron Boone did say, though, when he gave his media availability earlier in the day, yesterday, that Ben Rice is going to play more catcher.
Yes.
That he is going to start playing catcher. I only want to get your opinion on it for this perspective. Why now? If this was the plan all along, you knew Giancarlo Stanton was eventually coming back. Why would you start playing Ben Rice at catcher now?
Right. Well, I said that a while ago because I figured when he came back, they would put him as catcher, and why wouldn't they do it sooner? And they were doing it in drips and drabs. Like, if it was a day game after a night game and Escara was starting, but then like if they had a blowout, they'd bring Rice in for the last inning sort of thing. So I find that kind of interesting. I mean, obviously, he's not replacing Wells as the catcher. He'd be the backup catcher. He's also a lefty. Stanton's a righty. I mean, it is kind of weird to think of them platooning at the DH spot, but you never know what the Yankees are going to do. And maybe they'll do that to give Stanton, get him back into playing.
It looks like the plan going forward with Ben Rice is going to be as such. It looks like he'll play 2 to 3 games a week at catcher. He's going to play 2 to 3 games a week at DH, and he's going to play 1 to 2 games a week at first base. So he's going to give Goldschmidt a little bit of a respite in there too. I don't hate that. It does. My only fear here is that Ben Rice, who already has been struggling with the bat of late, is that playing this many positions in the field after not playing any in the field all year could affect his bat. You've seen that with players before when they have too much going on in the field, it winds up affecting their bat. That is a little bit of a concern to me because he hasn't played anywhere in the field all year. Now you're going to throw him in two new positions. That's a little strenuous.
Well, not steadily. Like he's spelled Goldschmidt, like a few games at first base, and he'll go in for like defensive or pinch, like when he's pinch hitting or something, he'll go in for someone. I don't envy them with this decision and how they're going to play or who they're going to play and when they're going to play. We'll see. I
also wonder who they send down because it does look from all accounts too when Boone was asked that JC Escara's roster spot is safe. He's not going anywhere.
Reyes? Is Reyes still up?
I would think that's who the odd man out winds up being.
Yeah.
But they're not going to, which is the right move because Reyes can play. They're going to leave Escara on the roster, and he's going to be the defected backup catcher, I guess, in a sense. It depends on what they want to do, but he's going to be the backup catcher for all intents and purposes. They're going to carry 3 catchers because Ben Rice is not a full-time backup catcher, if that makes sense from what I said.
And Escara, I think, does Rodon like working with Escara?
Yeah. So, and he's had a lot of success with him lately in the last month. So
he might be Rodon's guy. It's possible.
So, again, I said yesterday on the show that I thought they were going to take their time with Giancarlo Stanton. I didn't think that it was going to be really quick. I thought maybe 2 weeks, but I thought they were going to let him play for a bit in Scranton, in Somerset. That is apparently not the plan. They're looking to play him on Friday in Boston. So he will be back up after 2 rehab starts. I think it's a little short, but we'll see what that winds up being. In other news, Stacey, Luke Weaver had a throwing session. He said he felt really good and he felt nothing in the hamstring. That's a good sign, right?
Yeah, there's no timetable yet, and I don't think they'll rush him back because hamstrings are tricky. You don't want to re-injure a hamstring.
Yeah, so we don't think they'll rush him back. He's pitching Saturday in Boston. Next.
What?
We don't think they're going to rush him back, but we didn't think they'd rush Giancarlo Stanton back, and it looks like they work on their own timetable.
Yeah, but that's
I do agree with you.
I think
I do agree with
though.
you. With a hamstring injury, you need to take those things very, very, very lightly. You don't
I think with Stanton, like I said, I think he'll come back, but I think they're gonna like almost not quite platoon him with Rice, but I think because it's lefty righty and to ease him back into everything, but I think they just want him back, like just to get him back on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Stanton, who was playing in Somerset, Marcus Stroman pitched in Somerset also in the first game of their doubleheader. He threw 27 of his 46 pitches for strikes. 8 of his 10 outs were either ground outs or strikeouts, which is good to see. And of course, the tune has changed, and now he's saying that he'll pitch wherever the Yankees want him.
Yeah, funny how that happens, right?
Well, he's not hitting that 140 inning threshold, and he's not going to trigger the player option because unless there's a miracle. But no,
I wonder if they use him as their middle relief guy out of the bullpen. But that is a tricky situation because not all the time do teams do kind of things like that, and it works out. Marcus Stroman's a starter, and he's been a starter his whole career, so I don't know if you could just transition him into the bullpen that easily.
I think they're building him up to be a starter. I think so. I think
everyone else in the rotation's Wally pipped him at this point,
right? But it might be because they're paying him more money. They might put him back in the rotation and put Yarbrough as the long guy.
I would not approve of that. Yarbrough's been too good.
I know. You never know. Jake Cousins has a UCL injury. The Yankees are in the process of gathering other opinions. He was supposed to be seeing Dr. Christopher Ahmad, the Yankees team doctor, on Wednesday. So that's not great.
Nope.
No.
I'll delay him coming back.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this on yesterday's show, but a little bit of a brouhaha, a little bit of a kerfuffle between...
I don't understand it. It seems like a lot to do about nothing, but...
Jazz and Garcia, but... Don't the Yankees and Garcia have a history now because of Volpe?
Yes. I guess that was the last year in the ALDS. It was the slide into Volpe. Volpe wasn't that angry, but shoot him away. And then Jazz started, and then the benches. It was a very much baseball fight because the benches cleared and everyone just yelled at each other and no one actually fought anyone. Yeah. And Jazz still doesn't like him. He didn't like the slide that happened yesterday. Apparently, he was tagged without Garcia having the ball. It's a lot to do about nothing, it seems like. It's very dramatic.
It's just it's a guy thing. Guys are very emotional. I can't help it.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. I mean, they were showing clips of how emotional men get, especially during the heated rival between the Yankees and the Royals, which I grew up on. I mean, these guys were like literally sliding into guys and sending them out into the outfield.
Well, that's the funny part. You saw the highlight, the replay of the 80s, right? Where legitimate fist fights out on the field.
Yeah, like Willie Randolph flew into left field one time because someone slid into him so hard.
I mean, I'm a Cancer too, so I get it. We're all a little emotional.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming up, we're going to discuss Thursday's pitching matchup in the finale between the Yankees and the Kansas City Royals. And we're going to look around the league because the Tigers got some really bad news on Wednesday. So we're going to talk about it next.
Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. And that's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without all the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. And Gametime makes all that possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last minute deals. They've got clearer seat views and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying tickets. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for tickets at Yankee Stadium. And Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals that include big savings. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And guys, not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees Postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on our YouTube channel. You can get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees Postcast. Stacey, quickly, the Yankees already have the series victory over the Kansas City Royals, but why not go for a sweep so it tastes a little better? They'll finally play a game on MLB Network. On Yes, I mean, this game will be on Yes. The first game of the series on Yes. MLB Network comes into play because this game is an MLB Network for people that are outside. And I did see from our newly promoted and active TikTok account, we have a few listeners in Costa Rica that listen every single night. So we thank you guys for listening for sure. Thank you for commenting on the TikTok page and letting us know that you're listening from Costa Rica every day. But you can use MLB Network.
To go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. But
yeah.
You can use, if you want, MLB Network to watch the Yankee game. It'll be available on MLB Network if you get that package down there. And that's where it's available also. So pretty cool. Yankees are going to be playing that game nationally across the country. It will be Will Warren, who's 4-3 with a 5.34 ERA. He'll go up against former Met great Seth Lugo, who's 3-5 with a 3.46 ERA. We'll see if Warren can get those strikeout numbers, because the last couple of starts before the last one, he was improving on every start with a career high in strikeout numbers. So we'll see if Will Warren can continue that thread.
And a quick note, Cole Reagans was supposed to pitch that game, but he was placed on the 15-day IL with a rotator cuff injury, so Lugo got moved into his spot.
And not the injury you want to see for a pitcher.
No.
Not a good one.
No.
Speaking of bad injuries for pitchers, you want to take the honors here?
Oh, am I doing the Jackson Jobe news?
Yeah.
Tigers righty Jackson Jobe is getting Tommy John surgery. He'll be out the rest of this season, and it's possible he could miss all of 2026.
That's a tough one. One of the top young pitchers in the league, and seeing him out, really a shame that the Yankees want to see him in the ALCS at any point. Not rooting for injuries, but really a shame. Speaking of pitching news, that's really what came out of Major League Baseball today. Ohtani threw a 44-pitch bullpen over 3 simulated innings earlier on Tuesday. He now has what Dave Roberts is calling a north of 0 chance to pitch before the All-Star game. It's likely that he's now going to pitch in July instead of August, which is what he was originally suspected to come back. That is a weird quote, though.
Yeah.
And they asked him what his chances are, and he said it's somewhere north of 0. Just say he's got a chance to pitch in July. I don't know why be cryptic.
So you're saying there's a chance? Like,
yep, that's middle school me with every girl I ever talked to. So yeah. Snell and Glasnow also threw bullpens on Tuesday. They will need to build back up, though, so it's likely you don't see them until late August or early September. But getting those 2 weapons back is huge. I mean, those are 2 former Cy Young winners that they have on their IL, which is insane. The Dodgers are just completely loaded. But yeah, they got injured so early on in the season that it's likely going to take a literal full spring training over again to get them back. So it's going to be a while to see them, but they did start throwing bullpens both on Tuesday also. So a lot of good pitching news for the Dodgers coming out of their camp on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's all the Dodgers need is to get even better.
Yeah, and their pitching staff's been good too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of the Dodgers, former Dodgers, Chris Taylor hit the IL for the Angels with a broken hand.
Which is rough because they apparently put him on the same as the injury we talked about yesterday with what is his name on he's on the Matt Chapman, who had the hand injury, where they put him on the 10-day IL, but it's more of a clerical thing to advance into the 60-day IL with the fractured hand. Now Chris Taylor, who the Dodgers DFA'd earlier in the year, and the Angels claimed him and gave him a contract, so he stayed in LA, immediately goes out with the fractured hand. They put him on the 10-day IL. He's likely going to hit the 60-day IL. That is just a rough spot for them. And the Angels, who can't afford many offensive injuries, are dealing with another one. So that is a team that's so frustrating. It's frustrating as a non-Angels fan to watch them.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine Angels fans dealing with them signing Anthony Rendon and having that play out the way it's played out?
No.
watching Mike Trout just constantly getting hurt. He's back and he's doing okay. But, having all those years with Trout and Ohtani and nothing happening and the ownership just not wanting to really improve the team, I'd want to put my head through a wall.
Yeah, because there's talent on the roster. Talent's there. It's just it's just not gelling and not working out. The unwillingness to invest in pitching is just outrageous to me. And it's been like that for the last decade and a half.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'll never understand it.
Nope.
And the pitching on the other side of town is very, very, very much been invested in. I mean, the Dodgers pitching staff is, you look through that staff, it's mind boggling. They have like eight all-stars on their pitching staff.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
All right. Well, coming up tomorrow, it's Fan Mail Friday. So get those questions in by 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Just get them in.
On YouTube, past our weird faces.
Yeah. Make my life easier and get them in easy. Get them in. No, not easy. Get them in early. But it is easy to leave the questions because you just look at the post, put them underneath. And like I said, last week we had 8 questions on YouTube. So that was a good job by you guys.
Absolutely.
So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB, on YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And to the fans in Costa Rica, that is so cool. Isn't it wild that we have people from basically all over the world listening to us?
Well, thank you for letting us know where you're listening, because I'd love to hear more places that you're hearing us
Actually, as a matter of fact, if you're not from the United States, under our YouTube video, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know where you're from. I want to know.
It's interesting to us.
Yes, because I just never thought doing a podcast, people across the world would hear me yapping about
You're world famous, Stacey. You're world famous.
That's crazy. So are you. But isn't that wild? Like, we went into broadcasting thinking that only local people would hear us, and we have people from different countries hearing us.
I thought the only chance I'd ever speak to someone from Costa Rica is if I was ordering a drink at some bar in a resort. So this is a +1 for me.
Yeah. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I am Brian McKeon. We will catch you tomorrow for Fan Mail Friday.